Okay, June 5. It's about 52 degrees. Water temperature's at 42, they say. We are ready to go on a trip. We're gonna try to make Pequamining.
Well, here we are. We're finally in the water. The dry suits make another dimension to what we're doing. It's a little bit more weedy than I'd like today, but here we are going. I'm gonna let Dwayne pull in front, you can see him. Dumped in a bad way. I'm feeling a little bit tentative today. But I picked up my Euro paddle again and it seems to be doing fine. Although as soon as it gets a little bit less wavy, I want to go back again to the Greenland paddle. I want to be actually proficient with both of them. But for now, we're just out for a paddle today, trying out the dry suits, which create a different feel. I once asked a guy what he was doing when he was burping his suit, and there I was burping my own. So it was kind of funny. Here's something pretty interesting. I think it's a deadhead in the water. Do you see the log, Dwayne?
Yeah. It's a deadhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a deadhead. It's on the ground. Talking about that deadhead right there. You can tell it's actually touching the ground because it's not floating. Wait for me. We can go side by side. I don't know how well GoPro's picking it up, but that's Pequamining dead ahead. It's about 7.5 miles one way where that water tower is. The game plan is to go there. Basically, the wind's out of the north-northwest, it said. So we're paddling into the wind there. All along this road. This is Bayshore Road. The road follows the coastline all the way to Pequamining. This particular section, if it was to get bad, I mean real bad, this isn't bad, really. But if it was to get real bad, we could pull over on any one of these sides and I could walk home and get the truck and come back to Beth in the kayak. So, but one thing about paddling Lake Superior is if you're gonna do it, especially if you're going to Isle Royale or you plan on going to Isle Royale, this is a good paddling day in Lake Superior. Forecast was 5 to 10 mile an hour north-northwest winds. Lake calm to 2 feet, it said. So definitely paddling material, but with the cold air temperature and the cold water, we thought dry suits were the best option today, not just wetsuits. With our guide service leading backpacking tours on Isle Royale this year, it actually is going to cut heavily into my kayaking. I've got 5 hiking trips on the books. First one starts this Friday.
Oh, looks like the chop came down a little bit. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to get my groove on, and I think I'm feeling pretty good now. Taking a dump always makes you a little humble. I think my first order of business once this lake gets a little bit warmer is working on the roll so I can get back upright without exiting. think that would make the whole aspect of this a lot simpler. And I've got a lot of nice supportive comments and advice from people, so it's nice to hear that. And I think the thing is, relax. Work with your boat, not against it. Work with your body, not against it. Which, I've been paddling for many, many years. This is probably the best boat I've ever owned. Most seaworthy. And the most comfortable to paddle. Although it's not as indestructible, I guess, as Dwayne's Titan, but it feels good, this boat, and it's responsive. It's pretty forgiving.
Then Beth and I go for 15 or 16 days with our kayaks again. End of August to the beginning of September. So I'm not gonna have much paddle time this summer. So I gotta try to get as much paddling in as I can. This is actually a good day on Lake Superior. 1 o'clock. There's Beth over there. We're basically traveling north. A little bit northeast. You can see on my compass. But Pequamining is the water tower on the distant point. That was our... It's like somebody's got their sailboat out about my 11 o'clock. There's Beth right there next to me. We're still staying pretty close to the shoreline. Air temperature is very cold today. Said it was 52. Pequamining and its water tower are becoming more clear. I determined it was not a sailboat. It's just a fishing boat. It's like a pretty good sized one. There's Beth right there. We're getting ready to clear this point. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the map to find out what this little bay is here at Pequamining. There's like a sand beach would be my 2 o'clock right now on the other side of that point. You can see Bayshore Road between the trees. It's the road we ride our bikes on all the time. A friend of ours has a sailboat at the marina up here. We're kind of heading toward the marina. We were going to take a lunch break at the marina. I'd say we're about halfway when we clear this point. We're a little more than halfway. I don't know if you're watching this on a big screen TV. Right there is the Jacobs City Lighthouse, which is what's called the south entry of the Portage Canal. That is approximately 13 miles one way from our house. Another interesting part, this shoreline's like most shorelines on Lake Superior. Rocks. This reminds me a lot of the north shore of Isle Royal. Along this section. Big giant boulders and rock cliffs. More shoreline. Beth's a little ahead of me now. That's the Pequamining water tower dead ahead. There's a marina kind of by that water tower. Those buildings you see there, Pequamining. That's where a friend of ours has his sailboat. Pretty good sized sailboat. He actually sails it to Isle Royal. I think he told me one time it's like 38 feet or 42 feet, but I could be mistaken. I got another friend who's got a sailboat down, keeps it in Frankfort, Michigan, in some marina. Can't beat this place up here. If it would have its thermometer turned up, or thermostat turned up another 15 degrees for more than just a couple months, I'd be in heaven. Sometimes it gets hard to be 10 months of cold. And out of those 10 months, 4 or 5 of them are extreme cold. I try to get used to it, I guess. As you can see, water tower is getting more visible. There's Beth over there. Still dealing with the 1 to 2 foot. But they're not bad. More rollers than breakers. This is what the marine forecast calls calm to 2 feet. I don't think they're 2 feet. And they're not consistent. It's not really that bad out here. Of course, we're not in the open lake either. I think we're kind of tucked behind. There's a really weird shape. It's almost like it's a shape like an ear that sticks out where that water tower is. If you look at the map, it's kind of an odd shape. It kind of comes out, goes around, and dips back in. Beth hugs the shore a lot more than I do. Not real worried about it. I got all the gear. I know how to... I have what a friend of mine calls a sometimes roll. But I know how to paddle float re-entry. I can actually even cowboy re-entry in this boat pretty easy. So I don't worry about it too much. As far as I'm concerned, we've paddled enough in this lake that this is a calm day to me. In my opinion, if you waited for even the Keweenaw Bay to be like glass all the time. You'd never get to paddle because it's not glass all the time, anywhere near it. But I can remember it wasn't that many years ago that even waves like this got me nervous, but you just gotta go out and paddle in it. Either that or you stick to paddling the little inland lakes. When we first started, we used to go to Fortune Lake, which is at Pequamining State Park. It's not very deep. There's actually 4 lakes. So you can, and the water warms up in the summertime, so we could practice getting in and out and that. But that's all. It just takes getting to know your boat. Another fine day paddling on the Keweenaw Bay. One nice thing about paddling all the way here in the wind, unless the wind shifts, we get to paddle all the way back with the wind. There's Beth, she's still here, staying right with me. Like I said earlier, we opted for dry suits today. Combination of it, well, Lake Superior in reality never really gets warm. Coast Guard says that the water is a constant 39. Now some of these smaller bays, obviously if it's calm, can warm up warmer. So the water temp by our house at 43 degrees. It doesn't really get much warmer than that. I mean, we don't paddle out into the middle of the lake or anything, so some of these bays get warmer. But the wind today, high was only supposed to be 55. So it was a dry suit day. Thing about paddling in Lake Superior is practice, and you have to know your boat. If you're not comfortable, go to shore. I can't emphasize that safety fact enough. You don't have anything to prove to anyone. This lake don't mess around. And my God, please, always wear your life preserver. You will never see a photo of myself or Beth not with a life preserver on, unless we're on shore and done paddling. I've heard people say, oh, they're so uncomfortable. BS. Coast Guard's got some videos out there of what they call cold water shock. If you fall into this lake, you can get hit with cold water shock. And what it does is you exhale all your air. So when you say, oh, if I go in the water, I can put it on, that is not always the case. So do yourself a favor. I say no matter where you're paddling, but especially if you're gonna paddle in one of the Great Lakes, whether it's Michigan, Superior, Huron, any of them, get in the habit of wearing your life preserver. if you're gonna paddle in Lake Superior, I recommend at minimum a wetsuit. A minimum. As you can see, Beth's still with me. You can see the water tower is getting bigger. And the ride's getting a little more fun. I think these ones are closer to 2 feet than when we started. Some of them anyway. It's nothing but a thing. Nothing but a thing.